In this video, we're going to build a gas-powered air sled that we can drive through the snow really fast and also drive through the streets. I have a problem. I have too many crappy snow machines. Such as this one, which is a kid's sled, and this one, which is made out of a bicycle. However, they were just kind of crappy and they couldn't go very fast. But this one, it's going to be a little bit better. This looks familiar. It brings back some memories. Awful memories. This is Airplane Mark III, which started out as a good idea, but then got kind of overbuilt and overweight. It's completely useless to me at this point. I can't really do anything with it. If I redesign a new airplane, which I am probably actually going to build a 5th ultralight, this isn't going to be it. So I have to do something with this because I don't want to throw it away. It's a bunch of chromoly steel, which is very expensive, but it is ideally the perfect vehicle to take that motor in and put it back here and turn this into an airplane sled. Because it looks just like the vehicles I've seen in Alaska where they take an old wreck like Cessna or something, they turn the motor into a pusher prop, like with the swapping the propeller, and they turn it into like a snowmobile, and they drive it basically backwards. This is the same thing. I totally want to try that. First things first, let's take apart this trash I built. I'm going to reuse most of these parts, but I'm going to get rid of the stuff that's just a little bit too heavy and too awkward. What was I thinking? This is not lightweight. This thing weighs like 5-7 pounds. If I'm doing this again, it's going to be way different. You learn a lot by building and making a lot of mistakes. Oh, it's so much lighter now. The fuselage doesn't weigh a whole lot. Now we have a naked fuselage. So we're going to reuse most of the steel, so I'm going to break out the angle grinder and cut off the parts we can reuse for our air sled. Now this thing isn't the perfect layout just yet, so I'm going to cut the backside of the fuselage off and flip it around so it's tapered in the right orientation. You know, I want it to look a little bit cooler. I probably could use it as is, but if we're going through all this effort, let's make this thing look sweet. I destroyed it. Alright, time to put it back together. Now this thing is made out of 4130 chromoly steel. It's pretty expensive, but it's very lightweight and it's very strong. Ultimately good for an airplane and good for a dragster thing, snow speeding vehicle. This thing is never going to fly again. There's no way. You don't do butt joints like this for anything aviation. Like this is already really stupid because I really just cut into pieces of steel and welding them together with the freaking MIG welder. This is not up to any aviation standards whatsoever. Now time to add some skis to it. So I got it upside down because it's the easiest way to work on this. I'm gonna take this bar, weld it here. It's got a little bit of a bend in it this time because I want a little bit more ground clearance. Although in like a snow plane or snowmobile, whatever this thing is called, I don't think it's really quite necessary because you're always floating on snow, but I think it looks cooler, so we're gonna make some changes to make this thing look kind of cool. Oh boy, would you look at this, an old project of mine. Since we're reusing parts, I'm going to reuse this sled snowboards. These actually work really, really good, and I think they'll work just fine for this project too. So we're taking these kid snowboards off, but this time we're going to add some suspension. We have these leaf springs that are very, very springy, but they're springy for 470 pounds of trailer. I'm going to remove some of these leaves to make them lightweight, so I think these will work better because they'll be better springiness for our sled suspension. I'm gonna make these linkages so the leaf springs can do their springing action, and then we can install them onto the sled. Alright, so we got the leaf springs done. Let's see, I had to engineer that because I thought, oh, you just, put an anchor here for your leaf spring and an anchor there for your leaf spring. Wait a second, that doesn't make sense because you do that, you lock it in. So you have to have this little bar in the back that allows the spring to spring out because this thing changes dimensions when it springs. So now we have some leaf spring suspension. It's pretty low budget, that's for sure. But it's better than nothing. Skis are mounted. Now it's time for the front ski. I don't think we're going to go with any sort of shocks on this one. Mainly because I don't really think it's quite necessary. We are going on snow, and snow is generally smooth, so time to weld this up. And then we can go out and test it, because I think the snow's going to start coming tomorrow. Well, since I've cannibalized this thing, let's cannibalize it even further. I'm going to steal these handlebars off because these will work great for our steering. Now, I do have to make some modifications inside the cockpit because there's nowhere to mount this, so mount this bar here so we can mount the handlebars to it. We're going to make the handlebars a little bit shorter so they fit inside the vehicle. Well, never mind. We are putting suspension on the front because I found a spring from one of my ultralight projects, but I think this is going to be great for just suppressing a little bit of the bumps and the bounces, so I figured out a way to make this easily work. Oh, that looks pretty good. It's time for the steering rod, but I found this fun little method. You take a bolt, And then we're gonna weld it into this to make push rods. And now we have these sweet push rods. Basically, this rod is going to be our steering. It's going to push to go one way and pull to go the other. It should be, in theory, pretty slot-free with these Heim joints. And that will ultimately be very important for going very, very fast, because you don't want sloppy linkages when you're trying to steer something going super duper fast down the highway or making a land speed record with your crappy snow machine. And that should be pretty solid as far as steering goes. Alright, I have another stupid idea. How are we going to stop this thing? I don't really care that much about it because, well, I'm mostly going to be going in a straight line and we're not trying to go super duper fast all the time. But for stopping, we have this braking lever arm here, which is there's some pipe that's welded to this piece of steel that's connected to this block of wood. And you kind of get the idea. You pull the lever, the wood touches the ground, and it comes to a stop. Alright, well, we're getting along with the frame, but it's time to cannibalize the old one, so off comes the paramotor engine. This is the only thing worth any money on this. Kind of worth a lot of money, and it might find itself back in our airplane here in a minute. But for now, let's put it on the new sled. Alright, with that thing mounted, it's time to make a little protection propeller cage, like the one over there. I'm actually looking forward to using this tool because I bought a tube roller from Harbor Freight. Used it on the last project and never touched it since. So I'm kind of excited to play with this thing again and make a nice cool hoop. I need to make sure that thing starts because the snow's going to be here in less than 24 hours, so I got to make sure that works. So if I need to rebuild anything, I need to do it now. But for now, let's try to fire it up. Don't know if it'll start. We have to rebuild the carburetor. Hopefully not. It shows me no evidence of starting, but maybe that is actually mislabeled. So let's just try it the other way. And it's time for the cockpit of the vehicle. It turns out I have very big ears and they're like giant heat sinks, so they freeze to death very quickly in the icy cold wind. So to fix that, well, this cockpit should be perfect. Oh no. Maybe it'll be perfect if I make it a little bit bigger. I'm kind of a small guy, but even I can't fit in this. This is stupid. Why am I such an idiot when it comes to designing things sometimes? And measure never, cut, and weld wherever. Well, it turns out I made this a little bit too small. Okay, let's break out the angle grinder, make this thing a little bit larger because I'm too lazy to measure the first time, and fix this. Oh, God, that's not welded. Oh, this is a lot of it. I did not think this through. Thought it was shorter. Ta-da! That actually looks pretty good. Like, I've never really made something like this, so I just kind of made it up on the fly. Oh yeah, that's so much nicer. See, I get it like this. And close it. Oh, my head doesn't fit. Okay, yeah. So this works. So down here now. There's only, what, an inch or two? So right now I'm gonna slide forward, my jump's gonna hit this thing. That's literally the only thing that stopped me. That's gonna hurt so bad. Yeah, I need to put something here so your feet kind of like lock in. Ready for some snow. That is pretty good. Alright, got a little spot for the fuel tank. Alright, we're gonna install that with some high quality green masking tape. Time for my most favorite sound in the world, cutting acrylic on the bandsaw. Luckily, I got all this acrylic for free from a certain thing that happened throughout the world a couple of years ago, but all the restaurants are basically giving this acrylic away, and it's going to make a perfect windscreen for this cockpit of this snow machine, mainly because I didn't pay anything for it. Well, this is going to be sick. I can't wait to do this. Oh boy, would you look at that? It's snowing outside. Now it's time for me to do my favorite thing, which is use my unfinished projects in the wild. Hey, who can really resist? I want to take this thing outside right now. It's snowing. I want to see how this thing handles before we put this skin on it. All right, time to get in this snow speeder. Ah. This thing's awesome. It actually works really not too bad. All right, let's get it back inside. The creation is done. Let's do a quick walk around. First, we got the front snow ski. It's got a little bit of spring suspension, so that should take out some of the bumps. We got some hinge joints for smooth control action. Over here, we have the throttle quadrant. This is a $10 Amazon special for a little mini bike steering thing, and I just got a longer throttle cable for like 100 inches or so. Over here, we got the backwards throttle switch. The on command actually kills it because that grounds the switch. I think for the cheap Chinese go-karts, when you ground it, it runs. I don't know why it's that way, but it's just backwards. But yeah, so that's done. Throttle cable's done. We got our steerage, which I'm pretty happy with for just welding some crap together, some hinge joints. This works really, really well. Over here, we got gas can from the last project. Nothing special about that. We got the Moster 185 paramotor engine. This was actually used on my airplane project, the third ultralight. You should probably go watch it, because that airplane was a sort of good design. It started out as a fun build that was built to be a certain way, and then I started kind of like adding more onto it because I was like, I'm not really sure if my design is strong enough, so I kept overbuilding it until it got to be kind of too heavy for my personal taste, and it didn't really perform as well with this paramotor engine. So here we are, recycling the fuselage into something more useful. And over here, we've got the hoop to protect you from sticking your hands in the propeller. Actually, not really, because you can definitely still stick your hands in the propeller. It just kind of shows you where the propeller is, so you're more likely to not walk into it. And over here, we've got the leaf spring for a 400-pound trailer. I think it does a pretty good job. And over here, we've got the primitive handbrake. How do you stop a sled? I guess you just stick your feet out, but in my case, my feet are in here, so you just pull the handbrake, and that piece of wood touches the ground. Just some snowboards that you can buy for kids. They're left over from the last project. Underneath too, you can see I modified them for a little bit of more traction. There's got kind of this little groove in there to kind of help cut through the snow, because like I've found out from the last project that not having that, it's really hard to steer this thing and it doesn't really track in a straight line. While I finish up the details on the sled, I'm also planning on spending the day inside during all the snow, staying warm by the fire, watching my favorite TV shows, and catching up online. Now imagine doing all that, cozy, safe, and totally protected, with CyberGhost VPN, who's our sponsor for this video. Even when you're staying in, your connection isn't always as private as you think. Public Wi-Fi, your internet provider, even websites can track what you're doing, but with CyberGhost VPN, everything you do online is encrypted, your IP hidden, your info safe. It's like wrapping your digital life in a warm blanket of privacy. With over 38 million users around the world and excellent Trustpilot ratings, CyberGhost VPN is one of the most trusted names in online protection. And here's the best part. You can use it for up to 7 devices at once. Your laptop, your phone, tablet, and even your TV. So your whole household can stay cozy and secure. Plus, when you're snowed in and running out of shows to watch, CyberGhost VPN lets you unblock exclusive content from Netflix, Amazon Prime, and tons of other platforms around the world. Just change your virtual location and boom, new library, new shows, no shovel required. And if you're not totally convinced, there's a 45-day money-back guarantee. Right now, you can even get an 84% discount and 4 months free using the link in the description. So stay in, stay cozy, stay protected, and click the link below to get started browsing safely with CyberGhost VPN.
Winter storm warnings stretched all the way into parts of the Ohio River Valley. I would say Sunday, don't travel if you don't have to.
The blizzard has hit. Let's take this thing out for a rip. It's going through the snow and there's so much of it everywhere. It's digging in a little bit through some of these really, really big snowbanks, but who cares? Let's floor it and fly around the neighborhood. Alright, my brother's currently in a snow machine taking her out for a rip. I want to try to get him arrested, and it turns out the cop doesn't even really care. He's not even very amused. Oh well, he's cruising around this town, he's loving it. We're chasing him, and we're getting all these sick shots, and he got it stuck in the snow. Well, maybe we're finding out one of the machine's first flaws, which is turning radius. It's super long, like a dragster, and dragsters, they just don't turn very sharp. Something to think about. Okay, I'm seeing some issues with the super light fluffy snow. Maybe we need big fatter skis because it kind of like follows in these car tracks. So maybe some future improvements, we do something more with this thing. It's nice and comfortable in here. This thing cruises around town just great, but I did build it to go fast. So let's get to an empty field, floor it, and see how fast this snow machine really does go. Scooting. This drone can barely keep up. You know what? I gotta get the Get FPV drone out. It goes way faster than this thing. The Caddx Gofilm 20. This thing's pretty sweet. If you want to find out more about this sick drone or any other drones, go to getfpv.com down below. There's a link in the description if you want to build a drone like this thing or buy something ready to fly. Anyways, having a ton of fun with this. Let's get back to the video. Another cool side effect, it turns out it does pretty good donuts if you're in a big empty field, so the drone got some sick shots of that too. You like my handbrake? Stabbing me! It's not the greatest. Steering sucks. Fast? Yes. This thing's been a lot of fun so far, but I did install lights on it, so let's take it outside at night, because this thing looks super duper finished, and I want to get some sweet B-roll of us driving this thing around through town. Let's see how it does, because it's still freaking snowing and it won't seem to stop. We've done one more additional mod. I've made these wheels we can fit to the sled to move it around on some not so slick surfaces, but we can also remove the wheels to go really fast. This should in theory help us because the snowplows, they're a little aggressive around town when it comes to stripping the snow off the streets. Good for cars, not really for me. So that's why you see these little tiny wheels in the front of the sled. I think it honestly makes it handle a little bit worse, but it does make it roll smoother over some of the non-slick surfaces. I think the only real negative though is it seems to really dig in when we're trying to turn, which is weird enough because if you look at some of the shots for the snowboard, it just kind of turns, and right now it seems to be mushing through the snow on the front, kind of digging in. Ultimately, this is more a redesign if I try to make better snow skis in the future that are fatter, wider, and a little bit longer. Inside, it turns out it's really nice in here. I did install this little 12-volt car heater that's about 100 watts, and running it off this LiPo battery does a great job of keeping the ice off the windscreen, and since there's no wind in here, it feels great, especially wearing gloves and a hat. You really feel like you're just kind of taking a quick stroll around town, even though you're moving super fast on the outside. This is the third snow machine that we've built with this enclosed cockpit. It's the most comfortable machine I've made so far. You don't get subject to the freezing cold temperatures outside. You can just cruise around town and enjoy your time. One thing I probably should install is mirrors because I can't really see behind me, so that's my only critique of my own machine. I can't even see what's going on behind me if I lose any parts or if my engine's on fire or anything fun like that ever happens. So let's take it a rip through Lowe's and see how their parking lot's doing. It's pretty slick out here. It looks like they haven't plowed theirs yet. So overall, my handling for this vehicle after driving it for a few days, it's pretty good, especially around the 20 to 30 mile an hour mark. Any faster than that, it starts getting a little bit twitchy, especially on the thin icy spots on the road. But for the most part, steering and handling, it's pretty okay. Now, obviously, we have shown you, it doesn't turn very good. So if you're on like one-way streets trying to turn, you're probably gonna get stuck. So maybe for any of you that want to build something like this, I'd probably make it a little bit shorter because this thing is honestly a little bit too long, but it looks really cool as far as the dragster aesthetic goes. I would just make it maybe a little bit shorter if I were to do this again. The lights look fantastic. They're doing a pretty good job. I mean, they're a little bit of kind of like LED floodlights, so I really want to be looking into them, but the side marker lights look sweet. It's definitely a more finished build for me because most of my builds usually don't get to the stage where they're aesthetic and they look cool, and this one I'm super duper happy with. The Lowe's parking lot's pretty sweet, but I want some chicken wings, so let's go to B-dubs and get some wings. Woo, this thing is a wild ride, holy crap. It drives through town so great. The roads are getting plowed fast, so it doesn't seem to really like real thin hard surfaces. But man, this thing is great for cruising. All right, let's get some chicken wings. Also, check out CyberGhost VPN, our sponsor for this video, and get that discount using the link below and browse the internet safely and securely for just $2.03 a month. Totally risk-free, so check it out. Even though you have a vehicle that drives around the snow, they close places early, so we have to leave because they're not open. Back to the sled. So we got a snow machine that's perfectly capable of getting there, but I guess there's no staff there, so I don't know what this thing is really useful for.